Have you ever wondered why your winters feel shorter and summers longer? If you've noticed a change in your local weather, you're not just imagining things. The reality is, our planet is undergoing a significant transformation. The culprit? Climate change. This isn't a far-off abstract concept, it's a tangible shift that's making our winters milder, our summers hotter, and our weather patterns more unpredictable. The global temperature is rising and it's substantially altering our everyday lives. It's not just your imagination, the world's climate is indeed changing. To understand the magnitude of this issue, let's dive into some data. In the last century, our world has witnessed a rise in global temperatures. The 21st century has seen the 10 hottest years on record, with the last 5 years being the hottest. We're not talking about a mere degree or two. The global average temperature has increased by about 1.1 degrees Celsius since pre-industrial times. This might not seem much, but remember, we're talking about a global average here. In some regions, the increase is much more significant. Alongside this, our sea levels are rising at an alarming rate. Since the early 20th century, the global sea level has risen by around 20 centimeters, with a recent acceleration in the rate of rise observed. This rise is primarily due to the melting of ice caps and glaciers, and the expansion of seawater as it warms. Speaking of melting ice, the ice caps at both poles are shrinking at an unprecedented rate. The Arctic is warming twice as fast as the rest of the world, resulting in a decline of sea ice by about 13% per decade. The Antarctic isn't faring any better. Its ice shelves have lost nearly half of their volume since the mid-20th century. The culprit behind these drastic changes? The rapid increase in carbon dioxide levels. In the last century, CO2 levels have shot up by about 40%, from around 280 parts per million to over 400 today. This is the highest it's been in the last 800,000 years, and there's no denying the direct correlation between human activities and these changes. The burning of fossil fuels, deforestation, industrial processes, and various forms of land use have all contributed to this surge in CO2 levels. These aren't just numbers, they're evidence of a rapidly changing world. We're not just spectators in this story. We are, in fact, the main characters driving these transformations, and it's up to us to change the narrative. Scene script. Climate change doesn't just affect the planet, it affects us all. When we talk about climate change, we're not just talking about the weather. It's about our health, our homes, our food. It's about the very fabric of human life on this planet. Let's break this down. Heat waves are becoming more frequent and more intense. This isn't just uncomfortable, it's dangerous. Heat waves can cause a range of health issues from heat exhaustion and heat stroke to cardiovascular and respiratory disorders. The young, the elderly, and those with chronic illnesses are particularly at risk. But the impacts go beyond our health. Rising sea levels are a growing threat to coastal cities around the world. From Miami to Mumbai, millions of people live in areas that could be underwater by the end of the century. This isn't just about losing property, it's about losing communities, losing history, losing a sense of place. And then there's our food. Changes in climate patterns are disrupting agriculture around the world. Droughts and floods are becoming more common, ruining crops and livestock. This threatens not just farmers but everyone who depends on them for food. And that's all of us. But it's not just about what we eat, it's about how we get it. As the climate changes, so do the patterns of pests and diseases that affect crops and livestock. This means that farmers have to use more pesticides and antibiotics, which can have serious health impacts for us and for the environment. And let's not forget about water. Climate change is altering rainfall patterns, leading to water shortages in some areas and floods in others. This can lead to conflicts over water resources and force people to migrate in search of a reliable water supply. These are just some of the ways that climate change is affecting human lives. It's not just about polar bears and melting ice caps, it's about us, our homes, our communities, our health, our food, our water. Climate change isn't a distant threat, it's already changing the way we live. And let's not forget, we're not the only inhabitants of this planet. Our actions, our choices, they reverberate through the intricate web of life. Climate change is more than just a human problem, it's an existential threat to biodiversity. Species that have thrived for millions of years are finding themselves on the brink of extinction. It's estimated that 1 in 4 species could be at risk in the next few decades. That's a quarter of all life forms, possibly gone forever. Habitats are changing too, often too rapidly for species to adapt. Coral reefs are bleaching, forests are burning, polar ice is melting. These are not just aesthetic losses, they are the homes of countless creatures. And as we lose species, we lose biodiversity. This isn't just about losing the beauty and wonder of nature. It's about losing the vital ecological balance that supports all life on Earth. The loss of biodiversity is not just an ecological crisis, it's a crisis for us all, us. So why is climate change affecting the world so much? We've traveled quite a journey together, friends, unraveling the complexities of this burning question. We've seen how the rising global temperatures are not just about needing extra sunscreen, they're melting our polar ice caps, leading to rising sea levels, which are threatening our coastal cities, our islands, our homes. We've explored how climate change isn't just an environmental issue. It's a human issue. It's about the farmer in the Midwest grappling with unpredictable weather patterns. It's about the family in Bangladesh displaced by flooding. It's about communities worldwide battling extreme weather events, from wildfires to hurricanes. But climate change's impact doesn't stop at us humans. We've delved into the silent sufferers of this global crisis, our planet's diverse species, the polar bear losing its hunting ground, the coral reefs bleaching, the birds altering their migration patterns. It's a ripple effect, and the loss of biodiversity is a clear sign that our planet is in trouble. In essence, climate change is a multifaceted issue that affects every corner of our world, every aspect of our lives. It's a problem of our own making, and it's urgent that we address it. We need to rethink our lifestyles, our consumption, our attitudes towards our planet. The time to act is now, because the world we save is the world we leave for our future generations.